Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope your day and your week are going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money, guys. Today starts the official Christmas NBA Ladder Challenge. Now, we already had a ladder challenge earlier this month. We actually did really well on it. Made it all the way to day 5. Unfortunately, we did fall short on day 5. But as I said, we are going to run it back. The goal here, now, most people, they'll put like a goal of like, let's raise $10,000, blah, blah, blah. My goal is, can we hit a plus money parlay every single day from today, December 19th, until Wednesday, Christmas? And we will do a parlay on Christmas morning for Christmas Day. So that's the goal. Can we hit a plus money parlay every single day from now through Christmas? And again, if you don't know how a ladder challenge works, you take the winnings from the previous day and you put it on the next day. Myself, personally, I take that initial unit investment, I put it back in my pocket. That way, you're basically just playing with house money. So that's up to you. It's what you prefer. But for example, like today's parlay, I believe is plus 107 odds. You know, we're kind of sticking with the strategy we had last time, which was 2-leg parlays, you know, plus 100 to plus 130 odds, roughly around. It worked for us last time. We're gonna do it again. So, you know, for example, if we hit today's parlay, we'd be up 1.07 units. We're gonna take that 1.07 and put it on tomorrow's parlay. Now, some of you might put 2.07 because that's obviously the unit you start with plus the profit. It's really up to what you guys want to do. Personally, like I said, I always take that unit back. That way you break even, and even if the parlay loses, you still end up making your money back. So it starts today. Comment ladder down below. Let me know who's riding, who's fading, and who's watching in general. On top of the 2-leg parlay, guys, I also have 3 single bets to go and share with you guys because the 2-leg parlay is just not enough picks. We have a full slate today after a break yesterday from the NBA Cup final. So we have 3 single bets, and then we have our 2-leg ladder challenge parlay. We'll start with the parlay, and then after the parlay, we'll move on to the single bets. By the way, real quick before we dive into the picks, shout out to my girlfriend, Kelsey. She got me. If you guys don't know what this is, I'll go ahead and try to spin around for you guys if you guys can see. The Clark Griswold jersey, Christmas Vacation, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I showed it to her for the first time a couple weeks ago, and she surprised me with a little early Christmas gift. So got the Clark Griswold. I'm a Bruins fan. I know it's probably sacrilege to wear this, but got the Clark Griswold, Christmas Vacation jersey on. And of course, I had to break out the Wally World Christmas Vacation cup. This is a protein shake. It's not eggnog, not spiked eggnog. This is a protein shake, not to brag. But celebrating a little Christmas Vacation. Shout out down below if you guys love Christmas Vacation. It's one of my top 3, maybe my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Definitely the top 3. But guys, hope you enjoyed the holiday season. We're celebrating it with this ladder challenge. We've wasted enough time already. Let's dive right into today's picks. All right, guys, jumping right into today's picks. Like I just said, we're starting off with our 2-leg parlay as a part of our Christmas ladder challenge. Our first leg of our 2-leg parlay, we're starting with the Knicks-Timberwolves game. 9:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Mikal Bridges of the New York Knicks over 14.5 points plus assists. Now, this is an alternate line, and we are using DraftKings for this parlay. I promise we're not going to use DraftKings every single day of the ladder challenge, but for today's parlay, DraftKings seems to be the way to go. So we have Mikal Bridges over 14.5 points plus assists. It is minus 250 on DraftKings. It is also available on season. Like with most of these alternate lines, guys, the data is always going to be pretty solid. You see Bridges cashed the over in 9 of his last 10 games, averaging 22 points plus assists per game. So far in 2024, an 88% hit rate on this over. 23 out of 26 games he cashed it, averaging 20.23 points plus assists per game. So really good numbers there for Bridges. Like I said, with all these alternate lines, that's usually going to be the case. You see the insights provided by Outlier. Bridges has exceeded 17.5 points plus assists in 4 of his last 5 games on the road, averaging 18.8 points plus assists per game over that 5-game data range. Now, we are going 14.5, so the data is even better on that spot. And the head-to-head data is also pretty solid. Each of his previous 2 meetings with Minnesota, of course, taking place last season. He did cash the over both times he played them, averaging 23.5 points plus assists per game. You could probably honestly go a little bit higher if you wanted to 17.5, which the data is actually still pretty solid. 77% hit rate overall, last 10 games. So that's actually not a bad spot. We're playing on the safer side, of course, because it is a ladder challenge. So if you lose, you're done. You fall off the ladder. So we're playing a little more safer and taking it at 14.5 points plus assists. But like always, guys, it's up to you what you want to do. I'm just here to give you guys some advice and give you guys some insight. The matchup's also pretty solid versus small forwards. The one kind of weakness Minnesota has defensively, they are 28th in points allowed to opposing small forwards. They are actually top 10 in assists, but he's going to cover this mostly in points. Anyways, you see the last 10 games, the last 7 consecutive cashes he's had. I mean, not really a lot of assists for Mikal Bridges, a couple games, but mostly he's cashing this in points. And for our second leg, we actually probably should start with this one because this game starts before the Mikal Bridges game. But our second leg of our 2-leg parlay, we have Jason Tatum over 24.5 points in the Bulls Celtics game, 7:30 p.m. tip-off there. Tatum's cashed this over in 6 of his last 10 games. Now, this one, the data is not as impressive, but still solid overall. This was actually available on FanDuel as well as DraftKings. Again, we're focusing on DraftKings here. 6 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 26 points per game over his last 10 games. In 2024 so far, a 71% hit rate on this over for Jason Tatum. 17 out of 24 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 28.17 points per game. So the data is still, although it's not as good necessarily as the Bridges prop, still pretty solid data overall for Tatum here. And the head-to-head data is pretty decent as well. You see each of his last 3 meetings with the Chicago Bulls, he's cashed the over. He's averaging 26.75 points per game over his previous 4 meetings with the Bulls taking place last season. Now, he's played them one time this year, back on November 29th, less than a month ago, and he had 35 points in what was a 138-129 win for Boston. And if you watch my videos, you know the Bulls are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. They're a team that I like to bet against pretty often when it comes to player props. Overall, this team is 29th in points allowed, giving up 121.9 points per game this season versus power forward, which is the key thing here because Porzingis should play. Even if he doesn't play, Tatum tends to play more power forward in these spots. Of course, you have Holiday at point guard, Derek White at 2, Brown at 3, and you have Jason Tatum playing sort of the 4 spot. Well, the 4 spot, Chicago is not good at all. 27th in points allowed to opposing power forwards, giving up 25.7 points per game. And again, the last time these two teams played, less than a month ago, he had 35 points in that game. Tatum did play almost 36 minutes, but looking at the shots as well, he took 18 shots. He shot 67% from the floor overall. He doesn't have to take 30 shots to get there. And again, he had 35 points. We only need him here to score 25, so he can go 10 points fewer than the last time, and we still get a cash. The Bulls defensively just a mess, and a lot of people I know would probably say, well, what about blowout potential? Obviously, that's definitely at risk here, but the Bulls are the healthiest they've been in a little bit. Giddey's game time decision, but they have Lonzo back, they have Levine, they have all their guys, so they're the healthiest they've been in a couple of weeks. So I expect Chicago to at least hang around it long enough. And also, in the case of Boston, they haven't played in a number of days now. The last time Tatum played was on December 15th, about 4 days ago. Looking at the numbers this year, when Jason Tatum is on 3 or more days of rest, you have a 100% hit rate this year. 4 out of 4 games, he's averaging a whopping 33.5 points per game. He's had about 4 days off. There's really no need to manage the minutes with him there. I mean, even if they have a good, comfortable lead, I expect Tatum is going to play at least 30-plus minutes in this game. You do see here, actually, that Chicago game back on November 29th, that fits in this data range where he had at least 3 days off, came into that Bulls game. I mean, it was kind of a close game, 9-point win for Boston, but he scored 35 points. So you look at the numbers, when he has a lot of extra rest, he comes in ready to go, 100% hit rate this year. So love that spot for Jason Tatum. So yeah, looking over here, guys, 2-leg parlay plus 105 odds. Again, nothing crazy for the first day. We're just looking to get our first win, get the win under our belt, and we'll go from there. So 2-leg parlay plus 105 odds to kick off the Christmas ladder challenge. And we're now going to move back to the single bet portion of today's video. So those were that's a 2-leg parlay. Every pick I'm handing for the rest of the video now are our single bets. So our first single bet overall of 3 in today's video, we're targeting the Clippers-Mavericks game, 8:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Ivica Zubac of the LA Clippers over 24.5 points plus rebounds. Data is solid on this one, guys. 7 of his last 10 games, Zubac has cashed the over, a 70% hit rate, averaging 26 points plus rebounds per game. He had a little bit of a small streak there where, versus Minnesota, versus Portland, versus Denver, he had a little bit of a rough road. But overall, the data's been pretty solid for Zubac. In 2024 so far, a 70% hit rate on this over, cashed in 19 out of 27 games, averaging 27.04 points plus rebounds per game. Really good numbers there for Zubac. You also have the insights provided by Outlier. Ivica Zubac has exceeded 24.5 points plus rebounds in 11 of his last 14 games, averaging 26.6 points plus rebounds per game over that 14-game span. So besides that little 3-game stretch there in the beginning of the month, Zubac has had a fantastic last 20 games or so, 15 games I should say or so. He's having a solid year overall. One key reason being they need him to do more. I mean, obviously we know Kawhi's out, but Terrence Mann's out, PJ Tucker's out, Derek Jones is banged up, so they kind of need Zubac to step up and handle more of the load. Now the head-to-head data is also pretty important here. Now he's cashed in 5 of their last 9 meetings with the Mavericks, a 56% hit rate, averaging 24.33 points plus rebounds per game against the Mavericks. Now, obviously, they played in the playoffs last year. He had a pretty good amount of success in that playoff series against Dallas. Again, overall, not great head-to-head data, but it is over 50% hit rate and a pretty decent sample size as well. Looking versus centers this year, the Mavericks struggled 26th in points allowed and 13th in rebounds allowed to opposing centers. So with the data you have from Zubac in the year, plus with the matchup, I like the spot here. And Dallas is going to be a little bit of a weird game for them. They don't have Luka. He is out. You see Kyrie's a game-time decision. So those kind of injuries could affect this game. I think Zubac is due to have a pretty big performance here versus Dallas. For our second single bet, guys, in today's video, it's kind of cheating, it feels like, because it's basically just an extension of the bet I put in the parlay, but it's a little bit different. We have Mikal Bridges over 20.5 points plus rebounds plus assists in that Knicks Timberwolves game. I love this spot here for Bridges. I think it's a really good matchup for him against Minnesota. We obviously took him over 14.5 points plus assists in the parlay here. Now we're taking points, rebounds, assists at 20.5. He's cashed in 8 of his last 10 games, an 80% hit rate, averaging 24.9 points plus rebounds plus assists over his last 10 games. So really good numbers there for Bridges. So far in 2024, a 73% hit rate on this over. 19 out of 26 games he's cashed it, averaging 23.73 points plus rebounds plus assists per game. So really good numbers across the board here for Mikal Bridges, which is what you really like to see, especially for a prop at this value. We're getting this. Let's go ahead and scroll up here. We're getting a minus 125 on FanDuel. So for that value, with a 73% hit rate on the year, pretty good numbers there for Bridges. And the matchup, again, the head-to-head daddies cashed it in each of his previous 2 meetings with the Minnesota Timberwolves, averaging 27 points plus rebounds plus assists against Minnesota. And again, the matchup, 28th in points allowed, 28th in rebounds allowed, 10th in assists allowed for Minnesota versus small forward. So a really good matchup spot here for Mikal Bridges. All right, guys, in our third and final single bet and our final pick overall in today's video, we have Nuggets Blazers 10 p.m. tip-off. We're going with all reliable, guys, Nikola Jokic over 50.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. We're getting this for minus 110 on DraftKings. It's not very often you can go wrong when you're betting on Jokic. He's cashed the over in 6 of his last 10 games, a 60% hit rate, averaging 52.5 points plus rebounds plus assists per game with a couple of close misses here and there. So far in 2024, a 71% hit rate on this over for Jokic. He's cashed this line in 15 out of 21 games this season, averaging 54.1 points plus rebounds plus assists per game. So good numbers across the board. Even to go ahead and narrow it down by one game, 20-game sample rate, 75% hit rate, averaging 54.75 points plus rebounds plus assists per game. Whatever way you want to spin it, guys, Jokic is having a fantastic season. And considering the current state of the Denver Nuggets, he kind of has to be Superman. He's Superman anyways, but he has to be Superman even more now than ever. By the way, shout out James Gunn. I don't know if you guys are any of my comic book fans out there. We got the Superman trailer dropped this morning. Actually, while I was doing my research, I had to pause the research to go ahead and watch the Superman trailer. It looks pretty good. I mean, I didn't really know what was going on. I mean, I think that's kind of a good thing that we don't really know what's happening, but I liked it. Looks good. And I'm a fan of the Henry Cavill version too. But I'm excited for this new version of Superman. So if you guys are all my comic book fans out there, let me guys know if you watched that Superman trailer, what you guys thought of it. I thought it looked pretty good. I thought Crypto was probably the funniest part of that trailer. Anyways, I diverse. Superman action there. Again, I am a bit of a comic book nerd. I will be honest. I do like stuff like that. So looking forward to the DCU from James Gunn. But Jokic put on a Superman performance. He's put on the red cape himself here, and he's having a great season. The head-to-head data also pretty solid. 2 of his last 3 meetings with the Portland Trailblazers. Now, of course, these are all taking place last season. They haven't played yet this year, but 2 of his last 3 meetings with Portland, he's cashed the over, averaging 54.33 points plus rebounds plus assists per game. So pretty good head-to-head data there. And overall, Portland this season, really good matchup. They are bottom 10 in all 3 of these key categories, 24th in points, 27th in rebounds, and 29th in assists. So this looks like a pretty good matchup for Jokic. The one time he missed back on February 4th, he still had a pretty good game, 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. But the matchup is really juicy here. And for minus 110 odds, I'll absolutely take Jokic at face value. And one last thing on this data point, guys. Jokic has exceeded 50.5 points plus rebounds plus assists in 9 of his last 10 games versus bottom 10 defenses for assists allowed. He's averaging a whopping 61.2 points plus rebounds plus assists per game over that 10-game data range. So really good numbers there for Jokic. And yeah, guys, that does it. That is our NBA player prop video for today. I will be back tomorrow with another NBA player prop video. Now, obviously, how it's going to work is if we cash, and I'm really hoping we at least get past the first ladder. If we cash today, tomorrow we'll do our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay like we normally do, as well as day 2 of our ladder challenge. So if we win today, you're getting 2 player prop parlays tomorrow for the price of 1 video. So, and the video is 100% free, just to throw that out there. But yeah, so either way, no matter what, you're getting a parlay tomorrow, whether it be a Freaky Friday parlay or our, or both, you know what I mean? So looking forward to tomorrow's video, hoping this ladder challenge goes. I'm going to give a little spoiler. If we do lose today, I probably will run it back tomorrow because I kind of want this ladder challenge to see if we can go to a little bit close to Christmas, but normally I don't do that. But if we lose today, I might go ahead and run it back tomorrow. But we're going to win, so it doesn't even matter. Speaking into existence, we're going to cash. We're going to get into day 2. We're going to make it all the way to Christmas and win some mother effing money. Guys, thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Hope you guys like the new holiday setup. This Christmas tree will be more decorated. I have a bunch of sports decorations. I just set the tree up yesterday. So we will be putting up a lot more stuff on this tree, and I'll make sure to kind of turn my camera a little bit more so you can see it probably a little bit better. But yeah, get in the holiday spirit here with less than a week to go towards Christmas. Let's go ahead and make some money because you know what? Last minute Christmas shopping. I know I still have some to do. I'm sure you guys still have some to do. I'll be back tomorrow with another NBA player prop video. But until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Thursday. Let's go ahead and cash.